All right, 1 minute left, and we are almost there. We have a good topic today.
Really interesting topic today.
Yes, and I think this is a relevant problem most of the SMBs are facing. So let's see.
This is like this topic is always there in any conversation. The conversation can be about any topic, but then it all comes down to
It
this topic
comes down to
eventually.
this. I heard even I mean staying in US, I've heard from even my US colleagues, like when they have a business. Anyways, we'll talk more about that. It's 10 o'clock, so let's
Mm,
start this.
Yes, let's kick this off. So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. This is Shantanu Kelkar. We, along with Aniket, once again welcome you to this episode of our podcast series in the marquee title of Where Strategy Meets Execution. And today, as we were just talking before kicking this off, it's really an interesting topic that we have taken up, something that we have heard every business talk about, every client and every company that we speak to has highlighted this as one key pain point. So we thought it would be a good time to address this and see
Absolutely.
what SMBs can do about it, right? So let's get into that. And before we do that, I'll give a quick introduction for myself. My name is Shantanu Kelkar. I am a founder at 1.618 Business Consulting. I work with small, medium businesses as well as large corporations, working with them to develop and deploy strategies related to business growth, product marketing. I have about 20 plus years of experience working across companies like Honeywell Automation and Emerson Process Management and Frost and Sullivan. I have, spent years working in the field doing automation projects, but then the later part of my career has been on the business side, strategizing business growth, developing those business plans. And in this current avatar of mine, when I have started this business consultancy firm, as I mentioned, I work with these companies to really help them problem solve, if I can put it in one line, and turn really those challenges into opportunities that they can use to grow. So good to be here again, once again. Aniket,
Yeah,
over to you.
absolutely. Thanks, Shantanu. Hello, everyone. This is Aniket Vaksavre. Glad to share this stage with Shantanu. I have 15 plus years of experience, primarily in US, uh, in different industries. Started my career in automotive manufacturing in Cummins. Grew up the ladder from design engineer up to the operation leader and managing portfolio of about $100 million. Then I went into Amazon where I was leading a team of 15 and also drove some cost optimization and as well as cost improvements in warehouse automation project. $9.8 million. That is what my project drove saving, which I'm really proud of. Enjoy problem solving. My expertise lies in supply chain and robotics automation. Currently, I'm working for a medical device company and our project is to automate their pharmaceutical manufacturing line. Loving that day to day, really good challenges, and I'm here to share all that experience and wisdom that we have gathered. And I am hoping this podcast series that we are starting that addresses your prime needs. I'm talking to the SMB leaders out there. So yeah, as topic suggests, this is as Shantanu already described. This problem about the skill gap is really real, and we would like to share some more insights. We have a dense pack slides, particularly, we have done a lot of research about it. So I hope you like it, and then we would be really interested in your comments. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. Yeah, Shantanu.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah. So let's get started. I
mhm.
think the topic that we are going to discuss today, as I mentioned, it comes up every time we discuss anything with our clients and with the companies that we usually interact with. And what we have done today is to really address, take that topic head on. If you are an SMB owner struggling to hire and keep young talent, I think this episode is your playbook. So we are going to show how companies like, we have a couple of examples here who have they have been able to achieve 90% retention over a number of years by using certain models, and it's a great opportunity to learn from them and implement, for your own companies. So that's what we are going to talk about today. um, we get to the exec summary, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's start with that. What we call the bottom line upfront. Let's talk
Yeah.
about the key takeaway first.
Yeah.
And Aniket, why don't we give our
Yeah.
listeners, let them understand what are the stakes here? What is the three box view?
Sure, sure, sure. So very well, set up, Shantanu. Now, if we dive deep into this problem, the box one is talking about the crisis, right? We are looking at around 1.9 million manufacturing positions. They will be unfilled by 2033. Let that sink in. 1.9 million manufacturing positions will
Yeah.
be unfilled by 2033. And that's not my number. That's a Deloitte and Manufacturing Institute
Mm.
research. And here is the gut punch. 48% of those Gen Z workers who do join manufacturing intend to leave within 6 months. Just six
Wow.
months. Let that
Yeah.
sink in.
Yeah, it's a real issue, and it carries its own costs. So as you mentioned, we have this research from McKinsey which puts the cost of this attrition at close to $52,000 per departure. So when you factor in things like recruiting talent, training them, onboarding them, and what you lose because when they leave, as a result of when they leave, all of that put together amounts to close to $52,000 just for one departure, right? So an SMB who is already strained on margins, uh, and maybe losing 10 people in a year, that cost could amount to more than 500,000 in
Yeah.
1 year. So it's, for an SMB, that's a big number. It's certainly not a rounding error, right?
Oh, wow. That's not a rounding error, right?
Yeah.
And look at the box two, right? The insight. This is where it gets really interesting. Uh,
Mhm.
we deep dive into this case study. Zoho Corporation. It's a
Right.
famous software company. Uh, they've been running their school of learning for 20 years, past 20 years. They pay
Mm.
students to learn, not the other way around. And look at this result, staggering. Roughly 90% retention of the program alumni.
Mm.
Some folks from their original 2005 batch of 6 students are still there today, approaching 2 decades
Yeah.
of tenure.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing example actually. The numbers that you mentioned, they have been around since 2005, so close to 2 decades now, more than 2 decades now, without any employment bonds. There's no compulsion as such to stay. Students are free to leave when they want, yet 90% of them choose to stay, right? So
Correct.
that's loyalty earned through genuine investment.
Correct. And let's look at the box three, which is the imperative, right? Consortium based training. It's like, there's an institute called Fame USA here that
Mm.
enables SMB to access enterprise grade talent pipelines.
Mhm.
There are over 2,700 graduates, around 500 employee partners, and look like a 90% employment rate upon completion. And this model does work. The
Mhm.
important question that we need to ask is, will you act on it?
Hmm. Yeah.
So, just one nugget we would like to share: the 52,000 cost per departure. That is actually a very conservative number.
Mm.
Ernst and Young Manufacturing Workforce Study found that nearly around one third of manufacturing workers, they are actively seeking new employment, even as wages have risen 6% annually in India.
Mm.
So the problem is not just money. It's a perception, culture, and career visibility.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think one key takeaway from this slide itself would be that you either launch yourself, or you, if you don't have that financial muscle yet, at least join a regional training consortium, right?
Hmm.
So the sooner you do that, obviously earlier you get those results. And as
Absolutely.
we go through the presentation, we'll show you exactly how to do that. So that's the key takeaway here.
Yep.
Okay, so now before we dive into the data here, just let's work with a mental model, a framework that you can use to think about this a bit systematically. We call
Hmm.
it the SMB talent flywheel, right? That's
Hmm.
what we are calling it. Yeah.
And Shantanu, good point. I love this slide because it's self-reinforcing.
Mm,
Once you get spinning, right, each cycle makes the next one easier. So
nice.
let's walk through the four stages.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. So, stage one, as you see here, is the recruit stage. The key thing here is to target aptitude over credentials.
Yep.
We were talking about the Zoho example. Now, the way they do it is they don't ask for college degrees.
Yeah.
They test 17 to 20-year olds on mathematical reasoning, on logical thinking, on problem solving, and no prior knowledge of their products or of, let's say, coding or software is necessary. That's, it's
Correct.
not mandatory to know software before you join that institute or join Zoho. You just need to show the potential to learn, and the excitement and the drive to learn. That's what they are going after. It's a very different way of looking at it.
Yeah, very good point. And then here is a stat that will surprise you all SMBs, right? Zoho schools now receives around 20,000 applications annually from across India. 20,000. Okay, from high schoolers who have never heard of them 3 years ago. Why? Because word spreads when you genuinely invest in people, right? It's a word
Mm,
of mouth
mm.
publicity.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, that works.
That does work.
All said and done, whatever technology you, or ways and means you
Organically.
implement, yeah, to get it across, the word of mouth still works. Right. So stage two here is in the invest stage.
Mhm.
Let's say you pay $500 to $1,500. That, we'll talk about in terms of dollars right now. But obviously, when you're thinking about, let's say, the India market, think about it in currency exchange terms and per PPP, purchasing power parity terms. But essentially, this is somewhere like an entry level stipend that a typical graduate would get. So 500 to 150, $1,500 per month in stipends during training. Obviously, it means that you'll have to spend some money upfront, but then uh, here's what that signals. That's the signal that you're giving out to the industry, that we are serious about you. You're making the recruitee, the employee, feel that you're serious about them. This isn't an unpaid internship where you fetch coffee, and you're asked to do chores. We are actually investing in building your career. So
Career.
work with us, and that's what you will get.
Yeah, yeah. And let me tell you, for a kid from a rural India, or like let's suppose a small town in Ohio here in US, that
Mm,
monthly check while learning is transformational, right? It means they can
absolutely.
support their family while upskilling. Zoho started that at 10,000 per month. That's about $120, right?
Mm,
But year two goes to 15,000 rupees. Modest amounts, massive psychological impact.
absolutely. That helps. And um, I think what students these days, or Gen Z as we are calling them now, they are also looking for more value in their education and in their jobs too. So if you're showing it to them as they are graduating, I think that's a big psychological boost that you
Absolutely.
get. So stage three here is the retain stage. Now this is crucial, and that's where the as you were saying, the gut punch hits, because hiring is all fine, and we do the trainings and we do the hiring, and we have a team doing that. But then once the person is in, retaining them becomes a challenge, which is 10x. So, like, we have this survey, HR Dive surveys confirm that 80% of Gen Z employees uh, decide within the first 60 days whether they will stay long term or not. Right. So
Correct.
within 2 months, their decision has been made
Hmm.
on how much longer do they want to stay. Right. So that's the window that you have to win them or lose them.
A very good point. Yeah. And extending that point, Shantanu, what do you do in those 60 days, right?
Hmm.
Technology exposure, a career pathway, visibility, maybe, or think about
Hmm.
cultural integration, right? So I think when we are talking about this issue, we have to be honest with ourselves, and
Hmm.
I think our recommendation or our advice to the SMBs is don't hide your robots and AI dashboards. Lead with them. Gen Z wants to work with the new tech, right? They are very, they have enthusiasm, they have energy, so let them run with them from it, right?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
to like avoid that? Let them embrace that technology and then see how the magic happens.
Yeah, and one constant complaint that SMBs have is the education syllabus is not up to mark. It's not
Hmm.
as per the current industry standard. It's not keeping pace, and I think we'll talk about it in the later stages too. But if you are showing the technology leading edge upfront, then that really helps to capture the employee's imagination, right? and,
Correct.
and they tend to then stay longer with you.
Correct.
So yeah, so stage four, then that's the amplify stage, as we are calling it. Retained employees become your best recruiters. So it's,
Hmm.
as Aniket put it, it's a sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Once the flywheel starts spinning, it feeds itself. The speed gathers by itself. The social proof compounds. The machinist posting TikTok videos of their CNC work, they use various ways to really showcase how they are enjoying their work, and that leads to more people getting interested in that kind of a job, right? And it's absolutely worth much more than job posting on LinkedIn or some job board on Naukri.com or any other website around.
Yep.
Right, so that's the flywheel effect that we are talking about. So another nugget here is the maths behind this would certainly make the executives smile. Right, each successful cohort reduces your future recruitment costs. So you might feel that you are investing some money upfront, but then as the machine gets oiled, the pump gets primed and it starts spinning.
Hmm.
Uh, the future investments, the marginal cost to hire the next person goes on decreasing. Right? So if
Hmm.
you train 10 people and retain eight, those eight become mentors and brand ambassadors for your next cycle of recruitment.
Yep.
So your cost per hire drops, your time to productivity drops, and then your employer brand strengthens. So it's like a compound interest.
Found
It's a
interest.
compound impact that you get. Yep.
Fascinating concept. Really good. Well put. All right. Next, move on to the next slide. This is
Yes.
crisis quantified. Yeah.
Yeah, I think let's get down to some real data then. This is what we are calling manufacturing's $1 trillion problem by 2030. Right, it's a $1 trillion figure. That
Wow.
figure, again, coming from credible sources, from McKinsey. Their estimate of the annual impact of this talent crisis that will emerge by 2030.
Correct. Yeah, and let's break down this four regions we are covering, right? First one is the United States, 1.9 million positions, as I said earlier. They 1.9 million positions are projected unfilled by 2033. But here
Mm.
is what most people miss beyond that number, 1.9 million. There is 430 plus billion dollar in new manufacturing investments announced through the CHIPS Act and Clean Energy Initiative. Nearly
Mm.
about 300 new facilities planned through 2031, and each one needs to be trained. Each one needs trained workers. They who right now they don't it doesn't exist, so they have to significantly invest that. That's a major gap.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We coming to India. As we were again talking, every conversation ends up with this. That
Hmm.
you know, every every business owner that I have at least spoken with in the last 1 year or so since I started my business, their complaint is that we have a job to do, we have people on hand, the people are not fit to do that job, and the kind of jobs that the people are able to do are no longer existing in the industry,
Yep.
right? So it's a total mismatch that's sort of leading to a downward spiral there. That has led to that skill gap to widen to 150 million workers, from just 138 million 3 years ago. So just imagine the kind of growth in that, or the widening of that gap that has happened. So the NSDC report, for example, it states that 50% of Indian graduates are not employable in the knowledge economy.
In the knowledge
So you
economy.
have Correct, yeah. So, electronics manufacturing, for example, alone needs 10 million trained professionals by the next year, by FY 27-28. So, on one hand, you have the industry going into a certain direction, and on the other, you have the people, but then their skill sets are
Not
moving in a
allowed.
totally different direction, and they are not aligning. That's the key issue
That's
here in India, at least.
Yeah, yeah. And let's look at the Singapore, right? There you can look at like 83% of employers they struggled finding skilled talent in 2025.
Mm.
Uh, that's double the 41% reported in 2019.
Mm.
Just so that we know where the market is going, right? And Singapore position itself as an advanced manufacturing hub, but even they are losing the war for talent against the finance and software role.
Mm. Mm. Right. We see the same thing in UAE as well. I think they have a low unemployment rate. I think it's quite low at 1.9%.
Hmm.
But then the skilled labor shortages, they still persist. So jobs like electricians, welders, mechanical technicians, so those are still on a shortfall, or they are still seeing that shortfall. Their target for UAE is 25% of GDP from manufacturing by 2030. So,
Uh,
they have a real task on hand to move away from the oil economy, and they want to have manufacturing as 25% of their GDP in the next 5 years. But it's betting big on industrial diversification, but they don't have the workforce to execute that. That's the issue that they are facing.
yeah, they are investing heavily. You can see that they are not only big on semiconductors, but AI, everything. I mean, all the forefront print, they're investing a lot.
Mm.
Now, let's look at the overall crisis, right? Here is what I think I want everyone to remember, all the SMBs to remember. 65% of the manufacturer, they now cite attracting and retaining talent is their primary business challenge. Not
Mm.
all like, supply chain, cost pressures, tariff war, talent. The- it's not that the top. The top one is the how
The
do they
talent.
attract and retain talent. So this has surpassed everything else. We discussed all other problems in our previous podcast, but and we did discuss just glimpse of this issue, but we want to dive deep dive, and that's why we are
Mm.
talking about that in this podcast. So just one nugget about global perspective. The World Economic Forum, they projects AI will increase manufacturing labor productivity by 40% by 2035. But this is a critical demand for simulation and software skills, and that has risen 75% over 5 years. While basic manual skills like some Excel, Microsoft, all that those demands have declined nearly 30%. So manufacturing jobs are becoming tech jobs. And if you are not
Interesting.
training for Industry 4.0, you are training for obsolescence. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah, and you see the number here, specifically in the UAE. If we take that as an example for a second, um, they are pushing for emiratization of even the talent pool, right? So in
Hmm.
a way, emiratization compliance penalties that they put if you're not hiring local people, and
Yep.
I think gradually almost every major economy is now moving towards that direction, along with
Absolutely.
local value add insourcing. They are now also trying to hire local talent, right? And if you're not doing that, the penalties are brutal. So as you see here, almost 108,000 dirham AED per unfulfilled position in 2025, right? So that's roughly $29,000 per role that you fail to fill with local talent.
With local talent.
Yeah, the economics, um, as you see here, strongly favors using uh, the the subsidies or the policies that the government is pushing for you to hire local talent than to pay these penalties, right?
Yeah.
So if you do the cost benefit analysis, there's a clear winner that you have to invest in local talent.
Yeah, well said. I mean, can't agree more. Government is also basically saying train local talent, and we'll
Yeah.
subsidize your wages.
Correct.
And if you don't, we'll fine you into oblivion. So it's a carrot and stick, but the carrot is generous, up to 7,000 dirham per month for bachelor's degree. Hold us up to
Mm.
5 years. That's huge. All right, just watching our time. Let's move
Yeah.
on to the next one. Gen Z
Yeah.
Exodus.
Yeah, again a very hot topic of discussion, and again not just in business circles but even in social circles. This whole perception about how Gen Z is, and how they perceive jobs and whatnot. So let's tackle this again head on. I think in this slide what we are doing is, um, we want to say that the crisis is more structural. It's
Hmm.
it's titled here, why young engineers choose software over steel. So as a symbolic difference between the kind of jobs that they're going after today. I think it perfectly captures the perception gap that we are fighting about Gen Z. Right?
Yeah, and let's paint that picture, right? On the left side, we have what manufacturing currently offers. Entry
Hmm.
salary around, I'm talking about dollars, but convert that into multiplied by 90, around 69 to 78K. 10-year base advancement, physical presence required. I mean, everything is now work from office. It's not work from home. So keep that in mind. And then legacy industry perception is also that it's a limited flexibility.
Limited flexibility. Yeah, and I think what the Gen Z wants is exactly the opposite on each of these points, right? So on the right we have what they want. They are expecting an entry salary in the range of 80 to 100K, plus equity. That's again the buzzword these days. They want merit based rapid promotions. They want flexible working hours, remote versus hybrid, or remote or hybrid uh, flexibility, and they are thinking about innovation and tech perception. I mean, they always want to work in cutting edge technology driven organizations. So even if the perception is that of a legacy industry, they are not going to go for that kind of a job. So
Absolutely.
they are looking for purpose driven work, not just the rigmarole of your usual industrial manufacturing shop floor kind of a job.
Good point. And then the salary gap is real, right? But not insurmountable. So
Mm,
entry level manufacturing engineers at 69K can reach around 130K with experience, but the software typically reaches higher ceiling faster because there's more demand for that. Recently, I mean, now with the AI advancement, we have to see how in next 5 years this
mm,
salary structure will evolve. But this is the current scenario, and if
mm.
you consider remote options and stock options that manufacturing rarely offers. So there is a clear divide between software and manufacturing. So
Absolutely.
I know most of the Gen Z are going towards software degrees just because it pays better. But you know, I think how things are evolving in technology and AI, you would probably see some shift. We don't
Mm.
want to speculate, but just be flexible and adaptive is what I am saying.
No, absolutely. And you see the three stats at the bottom of this slide here.
Hmm.
That's something that should terrify every manufacturing industry or manufacturing company leader, right? The first one, 48% of Gen Z in manufacturing, they intend to leave within 3 to 6 months of starting. And this is, real. I have seen at least three of my close friends say this. They are running their own businesses, manufacturing and even automation businesses. So it's not that they are just running some legacy industries. They are actually working on technology, but which is more related to manufacturing. They are saying that they hire talent, and within 6 months, the
They leave.
person leaves, right? Yeah, so half of your new hires are already planning their exit before their first performance review. That's how bad it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And second, look at that. Only 14% of Gen Z, they said industrial work is a career they would consider.
Mm. Mm.
14% and 52% of teenagers show no interest in manufacturing careers whatsoever. So that's a big
Yeah.
problem. We are not competing for a talent. We are invisible to them. That's
Yeah,
exactly.
they are just not, we just don't exist for them. That's how bad it is.
Absolutely.
So, I think the third one here, Gen Z changes, they tend to change the jobs 134% more frequently than pre-pandemic workers. That's also a staggering number again. So they average new positions every 2.3 years. The previous generations, we're talking about tenures that ran into tens of years, at least 20 years, 30 years. Then that gradually started coming down. Now we are looking at an average of less than 3 years. So if you can't engage them in the first year or first 6 months of joining, then you have already lost them. That's the, I think, the key takeaway here. And again, something that hits all of us really hard, again, the perception versus reality. So Manufacturing Corporation of America, for example, their research shows that 60% of 18 to 24 year olds believe that their generation looks down on blue collar work, so the actual getting your hands dirty kind of work. But when asked what would make skilled trades more appealing, 38% cited higher starting pay, 70% mentioned that modern tools and technology, and 13% pointed to uh, reducing negative stigma, right? So the
Yeah.
perception problem is actually solvable if we actually invest in solving it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then let me add something from my own experience. Perception of that career velocity matters so hugely.
Mm.
I mean, if you consider a software, you can become a senior engineer in, let's say, suppose 3 to 4 years. But in manufacturing, career progression is often tied to your tenure and seniority. So
Mm.
young engineers feel stuck waiting for someone above them to retire, and then they take that position. So
Yeah, yeah,
that's
but
a
it's a correct. It's a design choice, though. It's not something that cannot be changed.
correct.
Companies that create visible career ladders, from apprentice to technician to team leader to engineer, etc., they can certainly compete for this level of
Absolutely.
talent or this kind of talent. But you have to explicitly show that path. It cannot be that come here and explore yourself. You have
So,
to take some efforts to make them understand.
absolutely.
All right.
All
How are we on time? I think
Yeah, we need to probably speed up, but let's cover this. This is
speed.
very important. Zoho inspiration study, and we can
Correct. Yeah.
maneuver.
So I think this is sort of the crux. We try to address this by using Zoho as an inspiration, as an example here. This their Zoho model, 20 years of proof that they have behind them, a proven track record that paying students to learn achieves 90% retention. That's the
Yeah.
key here.
And if you look at their backstory, it's very fascinating. When I was reading it, like in 2004, I believe, right? It's Zoho surveyed their
Right.
employees
Mm.
about their college education. 76% rated it as a largely wasteful, and then 43% called it as a massive time waste with
Wow.
poor teachers. So only
Mm.
20% of them found it genuinely useful.
Right, absolutely. So I think the Zo's founder Sridhar Vempu, I have heard him on podcasts and in interviews as well. What he did was he asked a radical question: what if we took kids after high school and trained them ourselves? Not
Hmm.
wait for that talent to come to us. Let's create that talent. Is what he went after. So that's how the Zoho schools of learning was born.
Yeah. And here is that model, right? Students age between 17 to 20, many from families below the poverty line, in
Mm.
rural areas, specifically Tamil Nadu. They are selected through this aptitude test, not just
Mm.
academic credentials. Year one pays around 10,000 rupees per month,
Mm.
about $120 in USD terms. Then the year two pays 15,000 rupees. And then the 2 year program combines classroom instructions with a full internship year.
Wow. Yeah, and I think the magic lies in this because here the graduates are receiving salaries that are equivalent to traditional 4-year engineering graduates, right? So they don't have the degree, they are not engineers, but they have the same starting pay. So that kind of is a motivational factor as well. The diploma is internal, but the market respects it because Zo's quality is proven. So it's
Correct.
again, what they are doing. They are proving that it works. And every time they get it right, it only feeds that engine.
Yeah. And the outcomes after 20 years are this still remarkable, right? Over 2,000 graduates now comprise about 15% of Zoho's workforce. So approximately 90% retention of the program alumni
Mm.
still working at the company. So multiple members from the original 2005 batch of just six students remain employed today, approaching 20 years of tenure. That's
50 years of
fascinating.
period. Yeah,
Fascinating.
that's fantastic. And if you look at it, then it's without any employment bonds. Right? Students are free
Very good point.
to leave, yet they stay. Why? It's as Sridhar Vembu puts it, we are in a talent creation business.
Hmm.
We are not merely a talent acquisition business. So when you invest in training individuals, they often become more devoted to your organization. So that has been their approach. That's what they call the Wembu philosophy.
Yep.
It's context free hiring. You are not carrying any baggage when you are hiring. They strip away any academic pedigree, school prestige, parents income, geographic location. None of those things matter. They
Matter.
focus exclusively on aptitude and hunger to learn, right? And this access is what Sridhar Bambu calls a blue ocean of talent that big tech companies completely ignore because they are always going after those uh, big college names and credentials, but they are missing on this pool then. So for
Absolutely.
small medium businesses, I think the big takeaway is that you're not competing with the likes of the Googles of the world for Stanford grads. You are actually finding diamonds in places where no one has looked, or people have overlooked. Those That is where you're finding the real talent.
Yeah, very well put. And then if you want to add something about curriculum, that training is not just it's not a bookish or theoretical. It's
Mm.
contextual to Zoho's actual tech stack. So the students that they hire, they work on a real product problems, not just
Mm.
academic exercises. So by year two, they are embedded into product teams, fixing real bugs. That's very, very, yeah. So they
No, that
go
helps
ahead, go ahead.
absolutely. Yeah. No, no, I was saying that that really helps. As we are talking, there's this big gap between what is being taught and then what the industry is doing. I
Needs.
think this is what bridges that gap. And
Correct.
then they are also investing heavily in developing soft skills, right?
Yeah.
Many recruits, as you mentioned, they come from rural areas, from vernacular medium schools. So a significant time goes into developing their English communication, their business etiquette, and professional behaviors. Now, so when they graduate, they are not just coders; they are actually professionals of sort of well-rounded personalities.
Yes. So let's look at this case study, FAME USA, basically Federation for Advanced Manufacturing Education. Let's, yeah.
Yeah, so let's translate this to sort of manufacturing. The best proof that the Zoho model works in our industry is, as you put it, the FAME USA, Federation for Advanced Manufacturing Execution Education, right?
Yep. And then
Yeah.
Toyota actually created that in 2010. Then they
Mm-hmm.
transferred leadership to the Manufacturing Institute in 2019 around. So the
Mm-hmm.
scale is very impressive. 45 plus chapters across 16 states, nearly 500 employer partners, and 2,700 graduates with
Mm.
1,500 currently enrolled. So critically around 90% employment rate upon completion. So think about that,
Mm. Yeah,
right?
yeah, and I think students, I think, work there for 3 days per week at a
Yeah.
sponsor company, and they attend community college 2 days per week. Right? They earn a wedge plus an associate degree. They often graduate debt free because of that. The 3-2 split in a week, in terms of number of days, also means that the immediate productive contribution while building long term capability, right? That really helps.
Yeah, and there is a stat like that should get every SMB's attention. A 2020 study found originally a Kentucky fame graduates they were earning an average of around $95,000 within 5 years. $95,000 for kids who started as high school graduates. Think about that.
Right. And I think that structure, the consortium structure here, is what makes FAME accessible to SMBs. So you don't build your program from scratch. You don't, repeat that stuff. You just build on what is being made available. So multiple manufacturers in the same region, they share a chapter. They pool resources for curriculum development and instructor trainings and then program administration, so you don't have to invent the wheel all over again.
Mm.
The consortium structure helps you just leverage what's already been done.
Yep. So companies like Toyota, General Mills, Novelis, they are anchor members, but
Mm.
hundreds of
Mm.
SMB suppliers they participate alongside with them. So the buying power with community college becomes substantial. Eight
Mm.
additional chapters are planned by 2026. And here is the one nugget. What makes this fame different from typical apprenticeship program is this professional behaviors emphasis, right? The students are
Mm.
graded on their attendance, communication initiatives, then diligence every single day, which are required skills in the professional environment, right? And they are just not the technical skill; it is all professional skills. So this directly addresses their SMB complaint that young workers they lack soft skills. But these Fame Institute and this institute they basically train them, heavily train them, and they got graded on those skills. So
Mm.
they when these frame graduates they arrive already accustomed to that culture and how the manufacturing environments want them to be accustomed.
Mm. Right. And I think there's also a German connection here, right?
uh,
Fame is essentially an Americanized version of what Germany has as dual vocational education system. So 70% company time, 30% vocational school. And
yes.
there's a program called ICAT,
Yeah.
through which the German American Chamber of Commerce is bringing that model directly to the Midwest. Right? So again, something there's a lot of things to learn from all over the world, This is one thing that fame has learned and implemented.
Yeah, in India, I think in engineering program, I have seen there is a sandwich program that does
Mm.
allow, like, they tie up with the industries and all that. That is getting, but still, I think there's a lot to be done. It is still not
There's a lot to it.
reached to the level that people are buying, because most of the people, they go for pure core degrees, and they just
Decade.
come out of it with a just a pure theoretical knowledge, uh,
Absolutely.
whether they lack the industrial skills. Uh,
Absolutely.
Anyways, just watching the time. Let's go to the next slide, slide number 10, and we can probably expedite it. So, what's the solution, right? Let's talk about the
Right.
solution.
Yeah, so here's, I think, the tactical part. There are three pathways for SMBs to transform their workforce. First one, join a consortium, the likes that we explained. Second one, build an internal academy, and third one is college partnership, so industry academic partnership. So let's break down who should take which path.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah, let's look at that. Path A, generally it joining a consortium is the lowest barrier. It's best for SMBs with fewer than 100 employees, right? Yeah, so you join FAME or ICAT and or a regional MAP program, and you don't design curriculum. You don't hire instructors. You show up, sponsor apprentice, and then provide work experience. That's it.
Yeah. I think you have this WireNet model in Cleveland that demonstrates
Yeah,
this quite well, right? The intermediary organization handles everything, negotiating with educational providers, managing state apprenticeship council relations, etc., training mentors, identifying funding sources, etc. And then member companies just focus on providing work experience, and developing talent through that.
yeah, and that path B, that internal academy that's the Zoho style adoption, right? Best for
Yeah,
SMBs with 100 to 500 employees who have that scale to run their own pipeline. So what you do is you recruit from the local high schools and then pay stipends, design blended curriculum with around 50% classrooms and 50% hand-on training.
absolutely. And of course, this requires upfront investments, but then it also gives you complete control over the quality and cultural fit of the
Yep.
employee. Right? The key in this thing is to pair each trainee with an experienced mentor. I think they use
Mm.
mentorship quite well in this case. So there's something called triad approach by DMG Mori. That's
Yeah.
a company example here, which is instructor led classrooms, on the job mentoring, and then online resources. So that's a proven framework that has worked for companies like Mori's.
No worries, yeah. And part C, that is regarding college partnership. That's for SMBs in the regions without existing consortiums. So what you do is you approach a local community college to co-design a curriculum. So I know Honda does this with Columbus State, Ohio State University here. I'm sure in Maharashtra also. I mean, I've seen a lot of colleges. They work with their own nearby companies to design that curriculum. So
Absolutely.
that's pretty good. You have to just scale it.
Yeah, yeah. And then you have this again, an example on this college partnership thing is
Yeah.
what you have in Connecticut. It has an entire network of community colleges, about I think 12 community colleges, with about seven specialized advanced manufacturing technology centers.
Mm.
They conduct this biannual conference, or workforce needs survey with manufacturers to ensure curriculum alignment. And,
Yep.
that's again some a good model to emulate
Absolutely.
for SMEs. Now, again, we have these three pathways. Now, regardless of which pathway you are choosing, there are three things that are non-negotiable here. So, as we said, win the first 60 days with tech exposure and career visibility for any new hire that you have. Lead with your technology positioning, show the real value. Um, in you're a tech company creating physical products. All said and done, you are not going to stop using physical products for
Hmm.
your physical needs, right? So um, lead with that, change that perception. And then the third one, I think the structure matters. Stipend based learning outperforms unpaid internships every time. So think about some upfront investment to do that.
Yeah, I'll skip that note. I'm watching the time. Let's go on to the next slide. Available grants.
Yeah, I
These are
think this is where,
briefly cover it.
yeah,
Yeah.
we correct. So this is where the government funding, we show what kind of government funding and policies exists in these different regions, right? But many SMBs don't know about it. Let's quickly walk through that. Maybe you can take the US first.
Yeah, the US is there is a dual apprenticeship building America. 95 million uh, dollar is available for pre-internship pathways and registered apprenticeship expansion. And there is a
Mm,
CHIPS Act also, which is pouring around $200 million, specifically allocated for semiconductor workforce training, with
mm,
requirement that incentives recipients partner with the community colleges.
right, right. Yeah, and I think we have these examples. We'll leave the slides here, but
Yeah,
let's
cover
probably
the India
cover each
first.
of the countries, yeah, quickly, and then we can move to the
Yep,
next one.
absolutely.
So, yeah.
And look at India here and NAPS. Then there is Strive and EFC. I mean, we'll leave this slide, but for Indian SMBs, this would be a crucial if you don't know. More details will be
Absolutely.
in the
Yeah.
appendix. Let's move on to the next slide. Um,
Yeah, again, rebranding manufacturing for Gen Z. Again, the perception war that we spoke about, right? You can have the best training programs in the world, but then if Gen Z doesn't know you exist or think that you're some relic of the past, then you have already lost it. Right? So we
absolutely. And there
that's
are three
that's
pillars, right? Lead with the technology, emphasis purpose, and then meet them online. So
Mm.
let's break that down, each one down.
Yeah, so I think lead with technology. You need to position your factory, your unit as a tech company making physical products. So 20%, 27% of Gen Z specifically want to work with drones, AI, VR. So that's a survey result again. They want to work with virtual reality and connected devices, etc. If you are running Industry 4.0 equipment and not talking about it, then you are leaving recruitment value on the table, right?
On the
You
table.
talk about it. If you are doing it, talk about it. That's the key takeaway here.
Absolutely. And then showcase your robotics, your digital twins, your IoT sensors, and whatnot, like your data analytics dashboards. Just World
Correct.
Economic Forum that projects AI that will reshape 30% of those jobs by 2030. So Gen Z knows this, right? They know all these
Mm,
skills as are picking up the speed. So they want to be on the right side of the transformation. So involve them.
absolutely. Yeah. The second one here, I think, emphasize purpose. Again, the survey says 77% of Gen Zs actively seek employers who prioritize sustainability, right? So 90% say they would work with companies that reflect environmental values. So they are putting more emphasis and prioritizing these things more and more. So try to connect manufacturing work to broader social impact, clean energy components, medical impact, or national security impact, those kind of applications. The more you talk about that, I think more attractive it becomes.
Absolutely. And then don't be shy about your role in the supply chain. If your parts go into electric vehicles or solar panels, that's a story,
Mhm.
right? If your precision components save lives in medical devices, tell that story. uh, Purpose driven positioning often
Mm,
separates winners from the losers.
absolutely. And the third one here, meet them online. Again, that's where they are socializing. So 2/3 of Gen Z say that social media increase their interest in trades. TikTok day in life kind of videos from machinists and welders generated millions of views. So the more authentic you are online, that's where you will tend to meet more of
Not too
those
much.
interested Gen Z population. They would want to see the behind the scenes content, and that really outperforms the polished corporate marketing strategies or messaging that happens every time.
Correct. And that hospitality rising campaign in the UK is also a template, right? Facing a similar staffing crisis, the hospitality industry they launch a massive TikTok campaign using that rise fast, work young,
Mm,
and the result was astonishing. There are around 75,000 job applications, 8% increase in positive sentiment towards that sector. So manufacturing needs that version of that, right?
mm, yes.
One nugget, NAM's 40 plus million creators wanted campaign. It has reached 1.5 million students and career monitors. That's a well-known program in UK. So around 5.35 million in earned media. That's very massive. So most importantly, 84% of those participants report significantly improve views of those manufacturing careers. So manufacturing day events now engage around 325,000 students annually. That's around 81 to 84% leaving convince manufacturing provides interesting and rewarding careers. So think about that.
Mm,
It's massive jump.
interesting.
So let's look into the next one.
Yeah,
Risk.
I think
Yeah, this is very
risk
crucial,
assessment.
and then we'll jump onto
Yeah, we'll
the
cover this.
summary. Mm.
Yeah, yeah, because again, second side of the other side of the coin, we don't want to oversee the risks that could be associated with this. What could go wrong? So, if we are blunt, these are real risks, and missing them will actually sink your program, right?
Mm.
So let's go through them quickly one by one.
The first one is high probability risk, right? Poaching of trained talent by larger competitors.
Mm.
So you invest 2 years building someone's skills, and then Fortune 500 company offers them 30% more to jump the
Often
ship.
repeated problem. Yeah, often. But I think that there is a mitigation to that too. So you have completion bonuses. You can put that instead of bonds.
Yeah,
Just position it differently, and offer a significant financial reward paid after, let's say, 2 years of your service post apprenticeship. You can make the leaving expensive in opportunity costs, not a legal penalty as such, but just make it more sort of difficult to leave in a way.
yes.
You can also put a front load career progression visibility in those critical first 60 days, as we said. Just give that clearly out.
Yeah, and that the second one is the medium probability risk, which is insufficient ROI timeline for
Mm.
cash constrained SMBs. So basically, those training programs that take around 18 to 24 months to produce a fully productive worker. That's a long time to wait if you are bleeding cash. You want
Yeah.
them to perform like within immediately, if not like two,
Mm.
3 months, or if not 4 months. Yeah.
If not, yeah, if not more. So again, some mitigation here is to use those government subsidies that cover close to 50 to 90% of costs, depending on what region you are in.
Mm.
The consortium model that we spoke about, get those share those expenses across multiple companies. Um, you have Singapore's ETSS as an example. 90% subsidy makes this almost free for qualifying SMBs. If you
Yeah.
use that, you get 90% subsidy. So,
There's third risk, is also medium probability. Curriculum becomes outdated versus industry 4.0 evolution because technology is upgrading every day. So
mm.
technology moves fast. Curriculum designed in 2024 it could be obsolete by 2027.
By 2027. Yeah, absolutely. And again, the mitigation strategy here could be more regular updates, let's say quarterly curriculum reviews with industry input, with industry leaders. Try and integrate AI and automation modules from day one.
Mhm.
Don't leave it for the last year. You could partner with equipment vendors like the Siemens of the world, Bosch of the world, who have interest in keeping the training current, because they are also looking to hire trained talent for
Yep.
their company. So, that's a mitigation strategy here.
Yeah, and that fourth one is the Gen Z perception gap that persists despite your rebranding efforts. So
Hmm.
you invest in TikTok campaigns, but the broader industry image drags you down.
Right, Zidane, yeah. And of course, it's not a quick win here. I think it's a multi-year
It is a
two-front war.
correct,
You need operational change and you need sustained marketing investment as well. But what you can do is you can participate in things like manufacturing day. You join wanted creators wanted as a platform, then make your local success stories visible. One person or one company can't change the perception alone, but a collective action towards this can certainly help, as the effects only get compounded over the years, right? So
absolutely.
we mentioned Bosch. I think one reality check here is the Bosch's Charleston apprenticeship program that delivers 80% retention rates. So again, another example where we have high retention rates. Siemens also has this e-mobility experience program that starts in 11th grade and runs for 4 years with full-time compensation. So
Wow,
you have examples where graduates have become homeowners at the age of 19. They have been able to buy property through these apprenticeship earnings. So the model does work if it is executed properly.
properly, absolutely. Let's look at the ROI and then the concluding slide.
The concluding stride, yeah. So this is something a CFO would like to look at. Let's go through that.
Yeah, top line metrics from industry research. Companies with a comprehensive training program around they report 218% higher income per employee, 24% higher profit margins, and around 200 to 400% ROI within 12 months. So
Hmm.
organizations investing in employee development, they are twice as likely to retain workers.
So if we make it real with a 10 work or 10 employee turnover scenario,
Yeah,
uh, currently if 10 employees are departing per year at $52,000 per departure, that equals 520,000 annual loss. So that's actually money walking out of your door.
absolutely. And then with the academy, if you reduce turnover from 10 to 3 departures, you're looking at around 156,000 annual loss instead. So net saving of around 364,000 per year. And that funds your entire training program with the money left over.
Yeah, and this is again just being conservative, because we are
Yeah,
not counting the productivity gains from better trained
correct.
workers, or the reduced recruitment costs from employee referrals, or the customer retention benefits from consistent quality. So these are all additional gains that you can have on top of the 364,000 you mentioned, Aniket.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's go to the next slide, 30, 60 day, and then call it out before.
Absolutely. So this is again, as with all our previous episodes, we will end with a very practical way to implement all the ideas that we have spoken about so far. So this is your implementation roadmap: three phases: assess and align, design and commit, and launch and iterate.
Yep.
Let's go through one by one.
Yeah, so the first 30 days, assess and align. Basically, it's a four action plan. Calculate your true turnover cost using your that 52K multiplier. Uh, Identify those regional consortiums, like for example, FAME, ACAT, MEP centers, etc. And then contact those manufacturing institute for guidance. And then critically audit your first 60-day onboarding experience, because that's where the retention is won or lost, the first 60 days.
Exactly. Right. Then I think day 60 onwards, it's design and commit. So select your pathway. You want to take the consortium path, or the internal academy path, or the college partnership path. And then you can also apply for relevant grants. You have things like Strive in India, DOL in US, ETSS in Singapore. So you define your stipend structure in those in this phase, and
Yeah.
you outline the curriculum, identify high school and college partners. That's what you do in this phase.
Yeah. The day 90 is the launch and iterate. Basically, what you do is recruit your first cohort of 5 to 10 trainee, launch your Gen Z rebranding campaign, TikTok, Instagram, authentic employee stories, and then they implement that 60-day culture integration program. Basically, you can establish a quarterly curriculum review process at a part of that.
Yeah. And being consultants, we are nowhere saying that you hire consultants for doing this. Actually, this is doable by even a lean HR organization in any company. Just if you follow these steps by day 90, you will have trainees in your facility who are learning your processes.
Absolutely. And Manufacturing Institute explicitly recommends that the employer responsive organization as a apprenticeship intermediates, they exist to help SMBs launch and manage their programs. So it does lower your administrative and design burden. So do if the solution already exists, why to reinvent the wheel, right? So think about that. So there is one more nugget before we finish this. This week, Google Fame US chapters and MEP chapters, they make two phone calls, ask about joining an existing consortium. That single action puts you ahead of 90% of your SMBs. Because who know they have a problem, but they haven't done anything about it. So action, bias for action is important. So take actions today.
That's great.
All right.
So I think we are
So
close to closing.
yeah, let's closing thought would be, that crisis is real, right? And we have provided some solutions over here. Companies winning the talent, we are not competing for workers. They're creating them, right? Investing ahead of the time, earlier in their education system is important. So uh, yeah, that was my takeaway. What about you, Shantanu?
Right. Yeah. So the second takeaway here, we took Zoos as an example. Their 20-year experiment proves that this model works. They invested in potential, they built loyalty, and no employment bonds were needed for getting that loyalty. Like, people stay when they feel genuinely valued. So that's the second key takeaway for me, Aniket.
Yeah. Third one, I would say consortium approaches make this accessible to SMBs at any scale. So you don't need Toyota's budget. You need just five neighboring manufacturers willing to share cost and a community college willing to partner with you.
Right. And I think the last takeaway here for me is use the government fundings that exist. We showed you that it does exist in almost every country now.
Mhm.
There are 90% subsidies in Singapore, 75% wage support in the US. You have stipend coverage up to 25% via NAPS in India. So it exists in every economy. Every country has some way of encouraging these. The money is there, you just have to apply for it.
Yeah. All right. Coming to end. So I'll leave you with the Sridhar's Vembu's question, right? What if we stop competing for the same limited pool of credential candidates and started building our own? Think about
Hmm.
that. That's a mind shift,
Yeah,
right?
it's a mindset shift, and from talent acquisition to talent creation, I think that's what it needs to happen. The future absolutely belongs to talent creators, not
Hmm.
just talent acquirers.
Acquirers. So yeah, start spinning the wheel, recruit, invest, retain, amplify. Each cohort makes that next one easier. So make sure that the each success story that attracts more applicants, and then it's a flywheel effect. Each retained employee
Yeah,
becomes a mentor and recruiter.
yeah, absolutely. And
All
just
right.
do it, go ahead and act on it. I think there's a lot of good things that we have spoken here.
Absolutely.
Uh, the first thing that anyone listening in can do is to Monday morning take the first step in actually doing this.
Yep. All right, it's time to wrap up. I know we little bit went over the time, but this is very important because it is a burning topic. So we want to pay attention to each and every details and give you some good frameworks and solutions that I hope does resonate with you. And if you have specific questions or if you have some change, like your case might differ from some others, so do
Hmm.
contact us. We are gonna leave you with our details here on the slide deck also. That's Shantanu's page, LinkedIn page, as well as the email ID, and that's mine at the third page. So do contact us. We would like to hear you. What are the pain points you're seeing, and if any of the solutions that we discuss here make sense with you. If not, we would like to take a deep dive and discuss those problems with you. All right, signing off. Any in last word, Shantanu, before we sign off?
No, that's that. I think you have put it quite well. We just want to have the conversation going now, so don't wait. Just pick your pen, the virtual pen, and write to us. That's all I
Absolutely.
can say.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining. We'll meet next week. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you. Have a good day.